What are some fictional character fights you would love to see happen? Mr. Magoo vs. Death from the Final Destination films. This might just be the best one so far. It absolutely is. Just imagine the carnage as Death tries over and over to kill him. How long until he gets frustrated and goes home? The entire series started when Mr. Magoo cheated Death. The whole series is really just Death trying to correct the order that Mr. Magoo creates over and over. I want Mortal Kombat 11 to include Rambo so that we can see Terminator vs Rambo. That was one of the hottest debates when I was in the middle school. If they're in the woods then Rambo wins lol. Stuart Little and Remy from Ratatouille. There can only be one. Animated mouse. Jerry. Jerry would freaking wipe the floor. Yeah, Jerry would legitimately do Silence of the Lambs it to them, and then turn their nearly lifeless husks into his fleshlights. What the frick, dude? 47. Your next target is extremely dangerous. The agency has thus far hesitated to take this assignment, but recent developments have given us no choice but to take out this former MI6 spy, codename 007. Good luck 47. Depends on the Bond and the film. Roger Moore in A View to a Kill doesn't pose nearly the same threat as Sean Connery in Goldfinger or Daniel Craig in Casino Royale. I was thinking about Daniel Craig. I always think about Daniel Craig. Now I'm thinking about Daniel Craig. Not even a contest. 47 is a stealth master, while everyone seems to know exactly who Bond is on sight. Would be simple for 47 to get the drop on Bond without 007 even knowing he's there. Bill and Ted vs the two guys from Dude Where's My Car. This battle will be excellent. Too bad none of them are gonna remember. Bill and Ted vs Wayne and Garth. They'd just be excellent to each other. And then? John Wick vs Jason Bourne. This is a good one. I'm going to go with Wick though, because he is a man of focus, commitment, and sheer will. It might never happen though, because Bourne is so elusive. Love Wick, but I'd go with Bourne as Wick is so easy to find and ambush. People show up to his house, he stays in the same hotels, drives easily recognizable cars, etc. If the ambush doesn't work though then Wick kills Bourne. Fortunately any free shot anyone gets on Wick is an automatic miss. I think it's in the contract. But Bourne has an even better superpower that keeps him from getting unharmed. The PG-13 rating. John screwed. Toy Story's toys invading Home Alone Kevin's house. Those toys don't stand a chance. That kid, Kevin, is a monster. Yeah, well Sid was an even bigger monster and look how that turned out for him against the toys. Yeah, but they're invading his house. He'll definitely win. What about the Toy Story crew against the Small Soldiers crew? That wouldn't be fair. I mean small soldiers were dangerous and bloodthirsty. Would be a massacre. Han Solo vs Indiana Jones. My money is on Harrison Ford. He's just fighting himself. It's going to be a solo fight. Yeah, at first he thought he was fighting an enemy, but in the end he was only fighting himself. But up first, it's the battle of the sidekicks. In this corner, the mighty Chewbacca. And in this corner, Short Round. And Fireomegad. Oh the humanity. That wasn't even close. Oh God in heaven. I have never seen so much blood. TCH. Short Round would look up at Chewie who'd look back. The kid would be terrified. Mr. Indy say I gotta fight you. The Wookiee would frown, make some kind of vocalization meaning that's ridiculous and shake his head. If Short Round gets up the courage, he'd probably run in and start wailing ineffectively with his fists and maybe kick Chewie in the shins a time or two. He might get a lucky shot to the back of family jewels, but I don't think that would phase him for too long. Wide-eyed jewel-whacked wheezing Wookiee would be a funny take. Then Chewie would just bear hug Short Round until he stopped struggling. Without courage on the kid's part, Chewie would just sit down, bark quietly, a Wookiee tut, and look distracted, maybe examine his claws, while Shorty stands in a fighting stance, terrified, twitching to attack, but not actually moving. Eventually Chewie would look back at the kid and indicate that he should sit down next to him. Back in the universe where Short Round had the balls, hell, to attack, Eventually they'd both be sat in the same places. Shorty would have more hair on his clothes maybe. Chewie removes Short Round's hat in one head covering grab, a callback to equally tall Adams' family's lurch, and then ruffles the kid's hair. Gronk. Captain America vs the Penguins from Madagascar. Penguins for sure. Smile and wave boys. Lois from Malcolm in the Middle vs Skylar from Breaking Bad. Lois would destroy Skylar and it wouldn't even be close. But I would love to see Walter and Hal fight. Walter Jr. versus Stevie. Stevie freaking mops the floor with Flynn Wall Jr. He has a mech suit that can cave in a metal garage door. I'm on Team Lois all the frickin' way. Lois isn't above throat punching a pregnant lady. Voldemort versus someone with some intense military firepower. Let's say the Terminator. Then we can settle the eternal debate of whether magic is better than having an assault rifle. Moldy Vold would get 3 words into his inevitable villain monologue and the Terminator would eliminate him with a simple headshot. A simple Asta Lavasta, baby, and a headshot. Asta Kadabra, baby. When little Voldy made a plan to murder Harry P, he cried, "I am the wizard man. There's no one wise as me," he said. "I am as strong as stone," he said. "I am the best," he said. And I alone, will conquer all the rest." And when his wordy speech was done, he waved his wand with pride. The Terminator waved his gun. And Voldy fricking died. Okay, this has been driving me crazy for 7 movies now, and I know you're going to roll your eyes, but hear me out. Harry Potter should have carried a 1911. Here's why. Think about how quickly the entire WWE, Wizarding World War III, would have ended if all of the good guys had simply armed up with good ol' American hot lead. Basilisk? Let's see how tough it is when you shoot it with a .470 Nitro Express. Worried about its Medusa gaze? Wear night vision goggles. The image is light amplified and retransmitted to your eyes. You aren't looking at it, you're looking at a picture of it. Imagine how epic the first movie would be if Harry had put a breaching charge on the bathroom wall, flashbanged the hole, and then went and wearing NVGs and a Kevlar weave stab vest, carrying a SPAS 12. And have you noticed that only Europe seems to have a problem with Death Eaters? Maybe it's because Americans have spent the last 200 years shooting deer, playing GTA, Vice City, and keeping an eye out for black helicopters over their compounds. Meanwhile, Brits have been cutting their steaks with spoons. Remember, gun control means that Voldemort wins. God made wizards and God made muggles, but Samuel Colt made them equal. Now I know what you're going to say. But a wizard could just disarm someone with a gun. Yeah, well, they can also disarm someone with a wand, as they do many times throughout the books, movies. But which is faster? Saying a spell or pulling a trigger? Avada Kedavra. Meet Avdamat Kalashnikova. Imagine Harry out in the woods, wearing his invisibility cloak, carrying a .50 BMG Barrett, turning Death Eaters into pink mist, scratching a lightning bolt into his rifle stock for each kill. I don't think Madame Pomfrey has any spells that can scrape your brains off of the trees and put you back together after something like that. Voldemort's wand may be 13.5 inches with a phoenix feather core, but Harry's would be 0.50 inches with a tungsten core. Let's see. Voldy weight is at 3000 feet per second. Better hope you have some essence of Dittany for that sucking chest wound. I can see it now. Voldemort roaring with evil laughter and boasting to Harry that he can't be killed, since he is protected by 7 Horcruxes, only to have Harry give a crooked grin, flick his cigarette butt away, and deliver what would easily be the best one-liner in the entire series. Well then I guess it's a good thing my 1911 holds 7+1. And that is why Harry Potter should have carried a 1911. Batman vs Iron Man. Both have the same amount of prep time. A graphically violent fight between Katara and Elsa in the middle of a crowded city. Directed by Quentin Tarantino and J.J. Abrams. Katara blood bends Elsa's blood to a halt. Battle over. Though Elsa could probably freeze a human solid with a thought too. Really, it would be whichever acted fastest and Katara's the real warrior. Katara wouldn't bloodbend, Elsa wouldn't freeze her. They don't really go for the kill even when fighting for their lives. but it would be sick to watch Ayo. Master Chief vs Doom Guy. Death Battle did that early on, like mid-season 1, though the episode's outdated by today's standards, both in terms of research and animation. The Quaker Oats Guy vs Cap'n Crunch. My money's on Cap'n Crunch. The Quaker Oats Guy has the edge in experience, but Cap'n has more energy, and I'm almost certain he's on some kind of amphetamines. Plus he seems more likely to fight dirty than the more straight-laced Quaker guy. Are we going to ignore the fact that Quakers, by definition of their religion, aren't fighters at all, dirty or otherwise? Yeah, but the Quaker man has the power of God and anime on his side. Yeah, but he's not going to use either to fight, because it's against his ethos.